Okay, FUTV Army, we have a pretty important update coming from Germany and Christian Folk regarding Manchester United's hopes of signing Benjamin Sesko from RB Leipzig. Lots of information coming out from the German club side and what's necessary from their part. Great detail from Christian Folk as well. We're going to get into that. A tiny little bit of an update from what we said this morning on Javi Guerra as well from Valencia for Manchester United. Things starting to hot up regarding the transfers and the incoming side of things. Obviously, everybody knows that Man United need to sell players, but the Benjamin Sesko situation is okay dragging on a little bit longer, it would seem, with Manchester United. They're accepting that they're not going to get their target straight away now that they've got their top two in Cunha and in Bumo. So letting this one play out and making sure that they get the right deal is important to the club. And obviously, Benjamin Sesko is a hot property at the moment. We know of interest from Newcastle United. He is definitely one of them players that RB Leipzig are going to sell this summer. And on that's where Christian Folk's piece, which everyone is talking about this morning, has started. It is interesting and important to remember that RB Leipzig need to sell players this summer. He's gone as far as to saying they need to raise around 100 million euros, so around about 85 million quid in player sales. There are two players that are on that list. They purchased Xavi Simons potentially to just sell on to make this mark this summer. So Chelsea are interested in Xavi Simons, and they're amongst a few clubs actually that are interested in Simons. So he's one of the players. Sesko is the other player. There's more reports coming out that Sesko dreams of playing in the Premier League, wasn't ready to move last summer, so stayed at RB Leipzig to get better, potentially become a better player. And that were the words coming from Leipzig at the time. They could have run a load of spiel and bull on that one just to keep him in the club, but everybody knew that this summer was going to be the one. And that's the most important thing to remember in this. This was a summer when Leipzig were going to sell. They are a selling club, as we know. Zero European football. That is a big factor in the way that they operate. Obviously, no extra revenues coming in, so they didn't even make the Conference League this season in the Bundesliga. So they are now looking to sell players on to meet their mark financially, and what's necessary for them is these two players in particular being sold out. So Simons and Sesko. So that was the important bit from the RB Leipzig side of things. Christian Folk also goes into saying that they would be willing to do business in and around 70 million. Now remember, I did the video a couple of days ago regarding the release clause, or the actual triggered release in the contract of Benjamin Sesko. No one knows the exact amount. It's rumoured between 60 and 80 million euros. Obviously, somewhere in the middle is usually always where these transfers end up going. So the word from folks is that Leipzig would be open to doing a deal for around about the £60 million mark. So 60.6 million, I think to be exact, is 70 million euros. They would be willing to do business with that to make it happen. That is the chunk of what Leipzig need in terms of what finances are necessary for them this summer. So it does look like there is an opportunity here for Manchester United to actually go into talks with Leipzig and structure a deal that suited them. Obviously, it just depends on what Leipzig wants up front. And this is the problem what Manchester United have got and why we have to wait to sell players. This is the Garnacho factor right now, because he's the one that brings the clout for Manchester United. He is the one that brings the masses of finances straight in, pure profit for Manchester United. Rashford has gone on loan, no pure profit from that deal. United just doing the necessaries to get him out of the football club. Garnacho is the one. Garnacho is going to play a big part in this. And this is where Manchester United have the chance to possibly negotiate with Leipzig in terms of what they want, what the structure of the deal would be. No need to go in with bids, get turned down, make it messy. We've got Christopher Vivel, who Christian Folk says, again, knows Leipzig well. Obviously spent years there in developing and obviously bringing through the likes of Sesko as well. So conversations can go on behind the scenes if needed to get this deal done. And if Leipzig get what they want, then Manchester United have the few weeks to get the necessaries done from their end. And obviously it will all hinge on the sales of Manchester United players. So if Garnacho goes, then Manchester United are quids in with the pure profit and can make this deal happen no problem. £60 million for a 22-year-old striker like Benjamin Sesko, I think, is exact market value for that player. I don't think he's worth anything more than that right now, with obviously the unproven nature. His goal scoring record is good, but not exceptional like other strikers in the Bundesliga. Obviously, you've got miles better goal scorers out there on paper right now, and obviously that's going to come into play. But there is masses and masses of potential. And let's not forget, he has been at Leipzig, and it isn't the best side. Like, no disrespect to them, his goal scoring record isn't great, maybe because he hasn't had the best team around him. Put him into a good team, and I'm not saying that is United at the moment, but you can imagine someone surrounded with the likes of Ahmad, Bruno, Cunha and Bumo and putting him into that side, you're probably going to get a better output. He's physically ready for the Premier League, which is why I think there's a lot of talk of United looking at the only real playoff of significance being bought this summer being outside of the Prem or in no Premier League experience, like we've talked about plenty already this summer. Prem proven. It is a massive risk for United and a massive investment, but is 60 million going to get this deal done for United? Is that enough for them to put forward for Benjamin Sesko? That would be significant, yes, and a massive commitment, but it isn't out of the realms of reason, I don't think. I think it is definitely affordable for Manchester United. If you structure that deal right, there is great potential there for United to get that done. It just depends on how the payments come across to RB Leipzig and what they want, and that's what United will negotiate now. And then they'll know what they need to do, and they'll know exactly what players need to be sold for what money, and then that deal gets done. In terms of Javi Guerra as well, we touched on this morning and where we're actually at. I was talking about the report coming out from Giving Sports and Team Talk regarding the situation with Guerra over at Valencia. It has now come out in Spanish publications as well that he has rejected the contract offer that was on the table for Valencia. So the reports were right. United weren't close to signing Guerra last time, which was about 4 weeks ago now, when that story came out, and everybody just played it down completely. Well, it does look like there is potential movement in this deal now because he has not signed that new deal at Valencia. He has turned it down. Some interesting stats that people have been bringing up on Guerra with players under the age of 23 with over 50 take-ons and 50 tackles this season. Guerra is in very good company alongside the likes of Jude Bellingham and a couple of other decent players as well. I think Gary was another one there at Barcelona. He is a very, very good player. Again, no, it's not Prem proven, and United have to be 100% on this. But both Sesko and Guerra have been scouted by Manchester United for over 2 years now. I've been talking about these players on this channel alone for the last 2 years. You can go back and look at the videos. They are well known to Manchester United. It's not like they are just going in blind into these players. They have been on long scouting missions, and United know all about these players. That's why there is that, I think, physicality factor to both of these players. Like the tackles won and the strength of Guerra in midfield and the creative spark that he has got fits what we need. A ball-carrying, strong midfielder in there next to Bruno Fernandes potentially, and you've got that physical factor, that 6'5" specimen, speed, power of Benjamin Sesko. That is why United are looking at these players, and they're the big commitment. So it's going to cost somewhere in the region of 85 million quid for United to get both Guerra and Benjamin Sesko done. And I'm not saying that they are United's top two targets. It could be Paulinho in midfield and Watkins up front because they're both Prem proven. That's what we have to decide on, and that's the discussions going on. But Benjamin Sesko is not out of Manchester United's affordability. It's just the structure of it and getting these other players sold. But United will not buy Benjamin Sesko unless they can sell the likes of Anthony Sancho and Garnacho. That's the big thing in all of this before United move on anything. Other than that, you're probably looking at the loans for Paulinho. You're looking at free agents and things like this happening. Garnacho being a make weight in a Watkins deal. That's where United are actually at. But Benjamin Sesko at 60 million. Into the comments, please, everybody. Let me know. Are you taking that deal? Is he worth 60 million? Can United make that happen? Give the video a like. That is your midday update here on Forever United TV. Also, please hit that subscribe button as well. You're helping the channel out massively in doing so. And I'll see you in the live later on.